Hi everyone, it's Lisa with InkandInspirations.com. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, I have my third in a series of Christmas cards for 2016, and I'm using this beautiful Reason for the Season stamp set. This stamp set is in the Stampin' Up! Annual catalog, and it has these beautiful poinsettia images. Also, there's a coordinating punch that goes with this, but today we're going to be using just the stamp set and has some beautiful sentiments too. So, I am starting with a base of Whisper White, Garden Green cardstock, and I've cut this from the 12 by 12 piece. So I cut it 4 inches wide and it's 11 inches long. So it's just 1 inch off the length of the 12 by 12, and then at 4 so you can get 3 going across the top. So I'm going to set that aside and show you what we're going to do with some of the other pieces. I have a piece of shimmery white cardstock that is amazing. It's got a sparkle to it, but it also does very well for coloring. But before we do that, we're going to banner the ends with a banner triple punch. And so this is 1 3/4 inches by 5 1/4. And you can get these details on my blog. There will be a link to the PDF with the project details for the dimensions of the cardstock cuttings and also a list of supplies. Okay, so I bannered that in. Then I have a piece of cherry cobbler that's cut at 2 inches wide by 5 1/4 long. And I'm just going to slip that in right there and banner that in. And we'll layer those up in a minute, but first I'm going to do some stamping. These are cut so that the banners match at the bottom, but you have this nice little cherry cobbler border along the edge. Okay, so now I want my basic black archival ink pad, and I have mounted this outline stamp of the poinsettia and the leaves, and so I'm going to do some inking up and trying to get a real good coverage on this. I probably need to re-ink my pad. I've been using it so much to do coloring for holiday cards, but I'm just going to go on a wing and a prayer here and get it stamped. Okay, this is narrow, okay, but I'm going to get as much of this image as possible onto the top part of this piece. So I'm just going to center it like that and give it a good press down. And there we go. And then I'm going to take my cherry cobbler Stampin' Right marker, and you can color so easily with these. First I outline the image like this, and it's like coloring in a coloring book. So much fun. I know if you've watched my videos, I know you've seen me do this already, but I'm telling you, it's such a bold, pretty color, and it's so easy, and I'm very, very relaxing. You know how the coloring books and things for adults are so trendy right now. I mean, you can't go into any store that you don't see one. I'm thinking, I've got plenty to color. Just get my ink pad and my stamps and my markers and my shimmery white cardstock and go to town. Okay, so now I'm just going to fill in. And it's very smooth, and if you color over it, the cardstock doesn't peel. I'm just going to fill in here. Remember when I was little coloring in school, I used to try to color in circular motion so I wouldn't leave streak marks. And I tend to try to do the same, so that's why I outline. I don't know how many of you used to outline your images in coloring books, but I know I did. So anyway, and it's a colored, artful image, so if you go outside the lines a bit, it's really okay. Okay, so now let's do our leaves in Garden Green. and do a little bit of outline. And if you'd like, you could do shading, and the way you could try that is do a little lighter color of green for the inside of the leaf. I personally like this bold filled in color. I may play around with it. If I do, I'll show it on my Facebook page. But this one I probably would use, goodness, I might try Cucumber Crush, but I might go as light as Pear Pizzazz. We'll see. I'll have to give it a try and see how it goes. But now it's just a really bold image here. Oh, it's so fun. Okay, so now there's that. Now for the center, I'm taking my Gold Wink of Stella. I'm just going to go around like that. Okay, so now that's done. Now I'm going to get my Garden Green ink pad, or you could use the marker. Let me show you how to use the marker for the sentiment. And you take the side of the brush and just brush it across the verbiage here. And it really covers it pretty well. And then turn it around and give it a good stamp. Hold it down for a minute so that the cardstock can soak up the ink. There you go. Okay, so now let's start building this up. I'm going to go ahead and adhere these two banner pieces together. So I'm going to use Tombow Monomulti liquid glue and just butt that up to the top and leave those border edges there. Match the banner bottom. Now I have a 3.5 by 5 1/4 piece of this textured Fancy Frost designer paper. This is in the holiday catalog. It is gorgeous, okay? Gorgeous. You can sponge it and make it a different color, but I'm not going to do that. I love it white, and it's like you've run it through a very detailed Textured Impressions embossing folder, but it's done for you, okay? So let's see. I'm going to get some ribbon that seems to have escaped me, but I'm going to look for it. And if I can't find it, I'm going to substitute some, oh, here it is. This is that 3/8 inch taffeta ribbon. It comes in 2 rolls with, I believe the other color that comes with this Cherry Cobbler is Emerald Envy. But I'm using the Cherry Cobbler to match my pretty poinsettia. And I'm just going to give this a tie. We also have the Cherry Cobbler twine that would do nicely here. This is just a little more of a rich feel, I think. And so let me trim that at an angle, and here again. Okay, let's get that out of the way. And I'm going to roll that around a bit to the side, just like that. Now let's find our card base and see if we can put this together. This I'm going to center and butt that up against the top of the card along the fold. Again, here I'm using our multi-purpose liquid glue. Say that real fast. Okay, there we have that. And now let's take our banner piece. Oh, isn't that pretty against that white? I love it. Okay, here we go. Let's get this on. The liquid glue does well when you're working with textured surfaces or our glimmer paper, okay, because it gets down in the little grooves of either the impressions or the glitter, and it holds nicely. So let's hold that down a little bit, and for a finishing touch, we're going to add some of our tried and true basic rhinestones from the annual catalog. So I'm using these small ones here, and just a scattering of 3. Come on, Lisa, get it picked up. Okay, so now here's our card, and can tie that so it doesn't cover my sentiment. I can also trim that a bit, which I think I'm going to do. Like that. And then just a bit down here to match the length. There we go. That looks good. And there's a Christmas card idea for you. Let me show you how I finished the inside of the card. I cut a piece here, and I'll have these measurements. I believe that was like 3.5 by 5 1/4. I stamped the sentiment, and I used the solid or the textured like poinsettia 2-step stamping that's also in that stamp set. This here, I stamped this in cherry cobbler. Then I inked this in garden green and stamped over to get a decoration for the inside of the card. Okay, I hope you give that a try. Please visit my website at inkandinspirations.com. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.